Box Fantasy Football Show from the Chesapeake Employers Insurance Studio of Press Box. Glenn Clark, Kyle Ottenheimer, and of course, our lovely and talented host, Mr. Ken Zalis. KZ, what's up, buddy?
What's up? It's fantasy football time.
Yeah, and this is every week has been weird. This week, super weird. There's no Thursday game.
No Thursday game.
Which we normally never have because the only week we don't have Thursday football is the last week of the season. And
Correct.
if you're playing fantasy football that week, you're a psychopath. So this is weird.
Yeah.
We have more COVID issues that we're dealing with, although we're hopeful. We're hopeful that, obviously.
We've been down this road.
100%. So it's just a lot of fun. It's just a lot of fun playing fantasy football at the moment.
Yeah, it's funny. I had a guy that reached out to me today, and he asked me about next week because one of the tricks of the fantasy football trade is that
get ahead of your bye weeks.
Not only get ahead of your bye weeks, but look for people after the initial waiver wire goes through that could be useful to you next week, and drop the bottom of your bench guys you're not using to try to get ahead of things. And I said to him, look, that's how you play fantasy football. That's how you win at fantasy football. You can't do that this year. And, I said, we don't know on Thursdays and sometimes Fridays and even Saturdays what games are actually going to be played Sunday, Monday, and now Tuesdays. So, in theory, he's like, well, should I drop this? I was like, okay, but what if 2 games aren't played this week? Do you still have guys that you can put on your bench? How big's your bench and things like that? So it's hard to play fantasy football, and you throw in the bye weeks, and this week there's only 4 teams, but there are going to be other weeks where there's 6 teams, and now you have people driving drunk and getting maybe suspended, and people being cut in the middle of the week, and hopefully not going and signing with the Kansas City Chiefs to screw that whole fun stuff up. But it's you got to play this week to week, and then play the waiver wire the best chance you can. It's hard to get ahead of the week that you're in, because what if Minnesota Atlanta is the fantasy football game of the week.
No, you're playing everybody there.
Everybody's playing.
Right.
How do you prepare for that? And everybody just used fab money on Madison, possibly, if he was.
Yeah, imagine if they don't play that game.
Right.
Dalvin Cook comes back next week, and all these people spend all this fab money on
it's a mess, and it's hard to do. So it's like, I know that's what we're supposed to do, but we just can't right now.
No, it's the reality. All right, let's cover a few things. First of all, the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show is brought to you by Glory Days Grill. The Oktoberfest menu is available right now. The chicken schnitzel, the Prussian pretzel rolls, and let me read this to you. The Oktoberfest Brewer's Platter. German-style sausage, braised in beer, and tossed with sautéed onions, served with creamy mashed potatoes, stone ground mustard, warm sauerkraut, and a Bavarian soft pretzel stick. Why in the world are you not at Glory Days Grill right now? 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. They're open every day with indoor seating available, outdoor seating available on the patio, and great to-go specials. GloryDaysGrill.com to find a location near you. You brought up a couple things there. We got a lot that I want to run over with you generically before we get to questions, but I'll start with the ones you brought up. One, the Melvin Gordon situation. I assume until he's announced as being suspended, you're playing him. But what's the thought process there?
So the thought process here is, what's the team going to do? The team sent him home yesterday from practice after this. So we don't know what sort of discipline the team is going to do. I don't think the NFL is going to act quick enough that he would be out this week. But you already had a semi-problem with Melvin Gordon in the fact that Philip Lindsay was back this week anyway. So, you're probably forced to use him if he plays, but just I wouldn't expect him to start. Don't freak out about that. I would still expect him to get somewhere between 10 and 15 touches because he was going to lose touches anyway to Lindsey. But, let's just watch real careful how this goes. I'm more concerned about what the team discipline is going to be at this point in the NFL. He may get suspended for 3 weeks. It won't be in week 6.
Okay, it's interesting. Or he would appeal it or something like that.
Well, either appeal it, but very rarely have we ever seen
suspension go through that quickly.
Go through that quick in the
but
same
you think
week.
There's a chance the team could decide
the team already sent him home. We'll see
Right.
what kind of other discipline the team may want to put towards him. We'll see how that goes. Right now I haven't moved him in my rankings. He's still somewhere in the running back 2 situation.
How much does Philip Lindsay's ranking change if Melvin Gordon doesn't play?
Lindsay goes into an RB2 real easily for me.
Yeah.
I mean, full workload. He's always been productive. Catches the ball well enough. Tough matchup, but all the same, you're going to get maybe up to 20 touches with Lindsay, so he would go way high.
If you are a Le'Veon Bell owner, you are rooting. The word is he's down to Kansas City, Miami, and Buffalo.
Yep.
You are rooting for him to sign where in what order?
Rooting?
Yeah. If you're
an owner of Bell,
Bell,
you obviously want Kansas City. The only thing with that is CEH isn't going away with Bell.
Is there more opportunity in Miami?
So I think you're probably rooting for Buffalo. And the reason I say this is that Moss has been hurt, who they drafted this year. He's got a turf toe, which for a running back is really hard to come back from. Singletary, outside of a week, has been really underwhelming.
I don't disagree with that, but I think they believe in him.
Well, they may, but if
they've already come out and acknowledged, McDermott said outright that they're interested in Bell, which is rare for him, right?
I think a lot of guys are interested in Le'Veon Bell.
I don't like the Miami thing. I don't know why I don't like it.
I'll try to word. Are you afraid that if there's one place where Le'Veon Bell would go that he just can't get it back?
Right. Yeah, it's Miami. It's
weird though because I think that's his best opportunity. I think you go to Miami.
It may be. People are under ranking Myles Gaskin and how good he's actually been this year.
I don't doubt that. I think it's more about what the team believes in that player and how much they have invested in them.
Well, how much invested? Yes, but you look at where the way they've treated Myles Gaskin. They've treated him as an RB1. They haven't taken him off the field a lot in third down situations. They made Jordan Howard, the vulture, inactive last week. To me, all signs point to they really like this kid, and he's done nothing to let them down so far. I think you want him to go to the better team where the running backs have been underwhelming, and for me, that's Buffalo.
The other sort of news of the week, a couple of breakout wide receivers, one being Chase Claypool. Now, I think he was picked up on every waiver wire.
Sure.
I think there was one league, in fact, where somebody already owned him, so congratulations.
Yeah, I mean, he flashed for a couple of touchdown earlier.
Is he now an immediate play?
No.
No.
You need to give it a week to see what happens with the target.
So we have to understand, as good of a week that he had.
Yes.
He had it because Deontay Johnson got hurt. Okay? Deontay Johnson wasn't in the game, so they had Claypool in the game taking his snaps.
To be fair, this is Deontay Johnson's third injury.
I understand that. I understand that he's been injured often, but also when he's been in the game, he is, believe it or not, the most targeted wide receiver that the Steelers have, even more so than Juju. His also yards per catch is the best on the Steelers.
Now, is there a chance, though, that Claypool could take that role?
No.
You don't think?
No, I think they really like Deontay Johnson, and he's a really good player. I think this hurts the James Washington. Oh, Deontay's hurt. I get some more James Washington love. No, not really. They also, game plan wise, the one thing that the Eagles don't do is cover tight ends well or big receivers, and they really exploited that in that game. I think he needed to be owned. I think people probably overpaid for him with their fab budget, but to me, he's not even a wide receiver 3 for me right now until I know that Johnson is out. this week because there's just not enough footballs for me.
I'm guessing that means you don't feel as though Travis Fulgham is a...
Now he's not an immediate play, but again, if Jackson is out and Jeffrey is out, yeah, I mean to me there's more of an opportunity. I know the matchup isn't great, but there's more of an opportunity. They only have Greg Ward at wide receiver. So the opportunity there, if those other guys are out for targets, is greater for me automatically than Claypool. We'll see how that goes. But he's not a wide receiver 3 for me. He's more of a flex play. I understand with bye weeks and injuries, maybe you're forced to use him, and I get that. Use him if you have to, especially if Jeffrey and Jackson are still out.
And then the other one that sort of jumped out at me this week, there's this quarterback. Oh God, what is his name? What is his name? It's L.A. God, Herbie Herbert. Herbie Hancock.
Herbie Hancock.
Justin Herbert. When do you just say, "I'm sorry, I effed you last week, Glenn Clark, and told you to play Joe Burrow, despite the fact that you had picked up Justin Herbert and cost you a win"? I am vastly wrong about Justin Herbert, and while I'm very good about other things, and I'm the number 11 ranked guy in the country at the moment, I clearly have screwed this up badly, and I'm so sorry. I kneel before you to apologize.
Yeah, it's not going to happen this week. I would not play him this week for the record.
Why?
Why? Because he's on bye. But thank you
right,
for walking into that.
Bad.
I appreciate for you.
That too.
I appreciate for you to walking right into that.
Like an idiot, I just traded for Hunter Henry last week. And for some reason, the trade took an entire week to go through.
I know. They're so slow.
And so I was like, yes, I got Hunter Henry, and he's on bye.
That's okay. That's okay.
We got Matsui.
That's okay. I traded. In a trade that just processed for me. I guess I put this in like 10 days ago, and apparently I traded David Johnson for Tyler Higbee because I needed tight end
for like that week, and
and
now you got your tight end back.
And David Johnson was disappointing, but of course he did well, and Higbee was invisible, and I'm looking at my roster, I'm like, where did David Johnson go? Look, in all seriousness, Herbert's looked great. I may have been wrong. I'm not there yet. I'm not there yet. It's tough. It's tough for me to watch 3 years of tape.
What a guy!
And come up with an opinion and then lose it over a 4-game stretch.
Yeah, Oregon's a little salty too.
Probably say I bet you they are because they didn't see this kid except for like 3 weeks last year.
Look, credit to Pep Hamilton, right? They've done a good job with him so far.
They've done a good job with him. He's getting all the right people.
He looked really good too. Mike Williams looked really good, man.
Off the scrap heap because he was injured, and it's like, okay, we didn't even know if he was going to play, and he looked great. I want to say one thing about Mike Williams.
He's frustrating.
No, well, he is.
And I have it because they're on bye. You're not going to see any of this because they're not going to say anything. The last play of the game looked like he hurt himself.
A lot, yeah.
He looked like he re-injured himself. Let's just watch that. I know. Won't even matter, and we'll talk about it next week. But as good as he looked, he really did look hurt on the last play. Like if there was another play after it, he wouldn't have been involved in it.
Nice catch, though.
It was a hell of a catch. I mean, those are two that I lost the league because of him, and I wasn't even paying attention because I didn't even think he was going to play, and he wouldn't be that. So,
and then Allen gets hurt.
And it's the Mike Williams show.
That's what's most surprising about Herbert is it doesn't really matter who he's throwing to right now.
It has not, and he's making the right reads.
It's almost like he's really good.
No, it's almost like he's playing very well.
He's playing really well. Quickly, we know that Madison's if the Vikings play this week, Madison's a huge play.
Huge.
Is Mike Boone a play?
Mike Boone is. If you need him, I picked him up in a league. He will get somewhere between 5 to 10 touches, and most of them could be through the air. So in a PPR, he's absolutely viable in a desperate situation. Mike Boone. If you remember last year, Mike Boone was the guy to get because Madison was hurt, and I think week 16 and 17 he was really, really good. They have a riches of running backs that leaves them, which means to me that there's no way that Dalvin Cook is playing this week, especially with the bye next week. I think they're dumb. I don't think they're stupid. Top 5. Madison's a top 5 play for me this week.
All right, very good. When we come back in, we are talking about your questions. KZ will answer them for you next. Get them in at Glenn Clark Radio on Twitter. This is the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show.
Glory Days Grill's Oktoberfest menu is available now. Our fall seasonal menu is available for dine-in, dine-out, on the patio, or to-go. It's a new season, so enjoy new flavors. Try their new chicken schnitzel or the delicious Prussian pretzel rolls. Glory Days is open from 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. every day. Visit glorydaysgrill.com for a location near you. From the Glory Days Grill family, stay healthy and positive during this challenging time in our community.
With Wise Market's lowest price guarantee, we guarantee the lowest price in the area. If a local competitor advertises any of our tagged lowest price guarantee items at a lower price, we'll give you double the difference with purchase.
Eat better, spend less, that's Wise.
Looking to get one up on the competition? Supercharge your computer skills. CCBC has classes at all levels from beginner to expert coder. Explore Microsoft Office, gaming, or even ethical hacker. Maybe hardware is your gig. Become A+ certified. All tuition free if you qualify. Call 443-840-4700 or visit ccbcmd.edu/quickreg.
If you're looking to make an impact, there's no better place to do that than the U.S. Army. Whether your goal is to fight and cure deadly diseases, develop technologies, or seek adventures across the globe, the Army is where all of that can happen, and so much more. The Army is a team of 1 million individuals working together to take on the most complex problems in the nation and the world, and to win. Ask yourself, what's your warrior? Go to army.com/Baltimore to find out. To learn more, contact your local Army recruiter and find us on social media at U.S. Army Baltimore.
Back in here on the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show, Ken Zalis at Fans Fantasy on Twitter is where you find him. If you want to get a question in right now at Glenn Clark Radio, that's what Ben in San Francisco did. He wants to know in a half-point PPR, he needs a flex from Devontae Freeman, Damian Harris, or Marvin Jones.
We'll go Damian Harris. I think he gets 15-plus touches on the ground. Denver's been okay, not middle of the pack. So we'll go there. I mean, I know Freeman looked pretty good, but the Washington football team
look at you.
does stop the run pretty well. Their front four is pretty good. So I'm going to tell you Harris.
John Proctor wants to know Claypool or Kenyon Drake.
Is it Drake?
Can you play Kenyon Drake?
I mean, you can. I mean, he was serviceable last week.
Apparently, from people who watched the game,
but it wasn't on a lot of touches.
Yeah, but he
on
scored
16 carries still. Apparently, people who watched the game, he was taken out of the game, yelled at by the coaches, and then he started hitting the hole. Actually, he was running straight then.
He doesn't seem like he's the third down back anymore because that's how much they like Chase Edmonds. But I got to go Drake because of the touches. I get the Claypool love, but I got to see it again that they're going to have that type of usage.
Laviska Shenault, Jerick McKinnon, or Brandon Ayuk as a flex.
God, wasn't McKinnon just a buzzkill last week?
Apparently James White is also an option.
Crazy.
And it is a PPR. It's really hard for you, isn't it?
It is because I have James White as my sleeper of the week. Because this will be the first game since the tragedy happened, and I think they're going to make it a point.
This is the second. He played last week.
Did he?
Yeah. He did normal James White.
They didn't play.
Yeah,
he played their last game.
Okay.
He had
I like James
9.4 points in half-point PPR.
I'm going to tell you James White. I really like him this week.
Okay. All right. I've got a similar question as Dave does. If Noah Fant is playing, are you comfortable playing him, or do you want to have a better option? I'd have to go to the waiver wire.
I mean, it depends what's on the waiver wire. Guys that have injured legs, ankles, knees, I always like to give it a week to see what they are. But if he practices in full Friday, I think you can go with him. I mean, they're going to target him a lot. I mean, it'll depend who's on your waiver wire.
I would think in my league, I've got my top options would be Tyler Eifert, Cameron Brate, Jordan Akins, Trey Burton.
No, you're starting Fant.
Oh, is Dallas Goedert not coming back this season?
supposed to come back this season.
For some reason,
When?
I can't answer that question.
Thanks a lot, KZ.
I feel like he might be somebody that I go ahead and stash on IR.
I did that. I did that with
Saquon Barkley's not coming back.
No,
this
he's not.
season. So
I did that with Njoku in a lot of places. So, when he was activated, so.
I think I'm going to go ahead and do that. I don't know why that was the case. Somebody must have somebody else in there.
Well, I mean, people are. Look, I saw a league. Somebody sent me a screenshot where Austin Eckler was dropped.
Wow.
So,
Wow.
you know,
All right.
you never know what rules are that people are playing in. If they don't have IR spots, you know, hey.
Okay. Fair enough. All right. Back to questions. Sorry, I was just thrown off by
That's
that.
fine.
From Andrew Stecka, picked up Cousins to replace Winston on a bye.
Me too.
Do I need to go ahead and pick up Stafford, Tannehill, Dalton, or Jones next?
Tannehill would be the one.
But you would still play if Cousins. If that game,
I actually have Tannehill ranked in the top 10 this week.
So you would play
I would play
Tannehill
Tannehill.
ahead of even.
I have Tannehill at 7 right now.
Okay.
Houston doesn't fear. I don't fear Houston's pass defense.
I don't blame you for that. Nick Kelly, if the Vikings play, are you flexing Madison or Jefferson?
Madison, that's not even close for me.
John in Little Rock, Claypool, McLaurin, Gallup, and Mostert for a flex and a PPR. He just asked that you rank them, I guess.
Mostert, McLaren. Who was the third one?
Gallup,
Who was the first one?
Claypool.
Gallup, Claypool. Claypool's fourth.
So he's
for me.
fourth of that group
yeah,
for you,
yeah,
is
yeah.
what you're trying
Yes,
to say.
Yeah.
Alrighty then. From Tom, Devin Singletary, or Joe Mixon?
Oh, Mixon. I mean, I get it. Great week. Kind of disappointing. Tough matchup again. But look at the usage. I mean, the usage is insane. He's getting 20 to 25 touches a week, and they used him a little bit more in the passing game. Like, I think if you were a reasonable Mixon owner, you were okay with what transpired last week from him.
I'm a little nervous about James Robinson, who was doing so much for me to start the season.
Yeah, we're a little bit nervous. I can't ignore the matchup this week, and I think he's still a top 10 guy for me, or RB1 for me this week based on matchups and everything. But it's a little concerning. But again, you got to look at the usage, and the usage is there.
Okay. I mean, sure. I don't disagree with that, and that's the reason why I'll continue to play him. But I don't know.
I can't. It's all dependent on who else you have and things like that. But I mean,
you wouldn't play Singletary ahead of him, obviously.
No,
right?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, I have Robinson 7th right now.
Okay. From John, not John Little Rock, different John. Jarvis Landry or Brandon Ayuk?
I'm gonna go Jarvis Landry here.
Okay.
PPR. I'm gonna go Jarvis Landry. It's just, to me, it's about the targets and touches, and as long as, again, he's healthy and practicing on Friday. We've seen Pittsburgh give up a bunch of points and a bunch of catches. We'll go that way. I mean, both quarterbacks are a little banged up, but San Francisco wants to run the ball more.
Steve wants to know, would you play Travis Fulgham? Oh, boy. Fulgham or Drake or Edelman as a flex?
Still going Drake based on the usage. I like Edelman a little bit.
I've got a Edelman or Landry question in one of my leagues. Actually, it's really 2 out of 3 because I was like, I've got Judy, Landry, and Edelman. I need to start 2 of them.
I mean...
I don't. That's why I asked you. What do I know?
I have Edelman. I mean, I have Judy and Edelman identical right now. Edelman's my 3rd choice there. Full point PPR?
Yes. So you're going Judy and Landry?
Yeah, I'm going Judy and Landry. I mean, they're right there for me.
All right. Kyle, go ahead while I reset.
LaVisca Chenault, James White, or T. Higgins?
Full point?
Half point.
Going James White. We're back on the train.
All right. Would you play either of those receivers over Devontae Parker? No.
No.
All right.
Love the Miami passing game this week.
Okay, what else we got here? Steelers defense or Dolphins defense?
Yeek. It's
I
actually
just realized why it is that somebody dropped Dallas Goedert. I want you to watch as I attempt to move Dallas Goedert to IR. Not an option. What are the two little letters next to Dallas Goedert's name?
they usually mean IR.
Yeah, really weird bit. Really weird bit from ESPN.
You know, it's still Pittsburgh for me. Weaker, going up against a weak offensive line. I like what the Dolphins have done. It's tempting, but I still have the Steelers as a top 5 defense this week.
So it's still Pittsburgh for you?
Yeah, it's still Pittsburgh.
Now, what about, would you stash Goddard over Tanyan?
No, not right now.
Okay.
I want to. Tanyan's had touchdowns and multiple touchdowns last time and scored the week before. I want to see if that's real. I want to see what Devontae Adams coming back does to that before I drop him.
Okay. In another league, here in a full point PPR, would you play James White over Gaskin? I imagine no.
No.
Would you play Judy over Edelman, James White, and Hardman?
Not over James White. No.
Okay.
James White's my top one there. Hardman's interesting. Still don't think there's enough targets with even with Watkins out, but he's more interesting this week.
Where's Julio stand this week?
I think he's out.
Beautiful.
That's gonna be my
lovely.
guess. He still hasn't practiced,
In that event.
and he's not going to be healthy even if he does play.
So then, with that said, are you going to play Judy? I think Judy or Edelman. We already had that question, but you'd play Judy over Edelman, and then both of them over Hardman.
Yes.
Okay, fair enough.
By the way, what's your warrior? Become it in the Army. Whether you wanted to cure diseases, the Army is where all that can happen, including developing technology the world doesn't know exists. Find out more by contacting your local Army recruiter and follow us on social media at U.S. Army Baltimore. Ask yourself, what's your warrior, and go to goarmy.com/Baltimore in order to find out. I feel like we've talked about all of these guys, but they're bunched together here. Needs to play 2 of Landry, Jefferson, Chenault, and Fulgham.
Jefferson for sure. Then we'll go Landry.
Obviously, presuming Minnesota plays, of course, that would be the case.
That's good. Let's just assume everybody plays.
If for some reason Minnesota doesn't play, would you play then, I guess, Chenault or Fulgham? Chenault is the play. Eric Ebron, Logan Thomas, or Austin Hooper. I hope you don't have all 3 of those guys on your roster.
I mean, of those 3, you got to go Ebron. He was targeted pretty nicely last week.
Okay, a couple of defense questions. These are always my favorite.
I know.
Washington's defense against New York or New York's defense against Washington? I don't think you play either one of them, do you?
Either of them.
Well, like I said,
yeah.
I actually think Washington's in play here. I'm going Washington over
Really?
the Giants, yeah.
I did as well, but I think that the Giants' defense, for as bad as their offense has been,
has
not
terrible.
been awful.
No, they haven't been awful.
And
But-
if Alex Smith touches the field,
Yeah, I'm going Washington.
All right, I think I've gotten through everybody's questions. What else is on your mind as we head into Week 6?
Play your Dolphins, especially in the passing game. I think
How far does that go?
that goes Parker, Gesicki, Preston.
Like, are you picking up Preston Williams if he's available?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I would play him this week. He's flex worthy for me. By the way, Kyle, play Hardman over that group. I'm sorry.
Okay.
okay, fair enough.
Yeah, Williams is, he's flex worthy for me.
Okay. Is anything else? Any other final thoughts?
No, I think that's it. I mean, look, we just gotta, we're praying that we're praying.
Okay.
We're praying
That's
we're praying that Atlanta and Minnesota play.
We've reached this point of the season.
We really
the
are.
The answer is we're praying.
And just make sure you're looking at your waiver wire now, and if you have Falcons and Vikings, drop guys now that you're not going to play. even if they're on bye, not studs, obviously.
Right.
Make sure you have a contingency plan. That's all I'm telling you to do. Have a contingency plan. Make sure you can field a full roster.
All right. At Fans Fantasy on Twitter is how you follow him. Thanks to KZ. Thanks to the U.S. Army. Thanks to Glory Days Grill. Thanks to Wise Markets and to CCBC. Supercharge your computer skills with beginner to advanced classes at CCBC. All tuition free if you qualify. 443-840-4700. We will see you next Thursday, KZ.
You will.
And, of course, we will see you guys tomorrow morning, 10 a.m. For Glenn Clark Radio, this has been the Pressbox Fantasy Football Show.